Good evening, everyone. I'm your host, Sudeep Maiti, career designer. Welcome to Classroom to Boardroom Talk Show. This is episode number 25. We have gathered here to enlighten you about the different ways by which the transition from classroom to boardroom can easily happen. We'll discuss about the hurdles or challenges that come along the way. Take charge of your career. Also listen to the different eminent person who have excelled in their own field. Today we have invited one of the great coach, mentor, trainer, facilitator who is passionate about training. He was associated with UNICEF, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Jindal Steel and Power, Chhattisgarh, RSBY, presently associated with organizations like Times, Rajasthan Patrika as a coach, trainer, and subject matter expert. He wants to explore the new things and meet with the new people. He not only learn the new things, also a givers. Let me welcome Dr. Kishore Datta with thunderous rounds of applause. Today we
Thank
will
you,
talk
sir.
about the topic called Journey from Campus to Corporate. So, welcome Dr. Kishore Datta in this talk show.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good evening. And it's a thunderous evening. I don't know whether you have heard the background or not. It is like, uh, I think it's going to be a tremendous rain outside. So it's thundering a lot. But then thundering means applaud, that I feel. Some kind of applaud is going on. Okay, so good evening, everyone, and thank you, Sudipda, for giving me this chance. And yes, I would like to add something on my profile that I am presently as a training partner with DRFHE, which is the CSR branch of Dr. Reddy's. And we do a lot of training programs, right, for students, right, for basic medical professionals to doctors. So this is what I'm mainly engaged now in, and I'm also engaged with a lot of counseling sessions because of late today only I had a agreement signed with one of the leading organizations in education, school education, and we'll be doing classroom kind of career counseling with students, so that bring a kind of particular awareness which is much needed, right? So that is me in a nutshell. I am based in Chhattisgarh, so I've traveled a lot. I have lived a lot abroad. I almost 8 years, 8.5 years. I was in Eastern Europe as my basic education, college education has been done from there. And it's the disputed area of the Ukraine, which you are hearing so much nowadays in news, because of the Russia-Ukraine war. So it doesn't seem very nice whenever I see my places where I have lived all now, kind of suffering that fate of war. Anyways, and I have lived in Denmark also for some time, and I returned back to India somewhere around 2012 to begin my career, or I would say rather re-begin my career. This is one thing which I would love to tell the students who are planning to join corporates, that it is never late to restart. Right. I have had this experience two times in my life. And the second time, which is a recent one, was way back in 2012, when there was a kind of a situation where I had to choose from whatever was available with me. Because I was already there with something, but due to certain reasons, I had to return back. Certain family reasons, I had to return back. And once I returned back, I was finding myself in a dilemma because, time is very powerful in this world, in this present VUCA world. Time is very powerful. Time, if you are right there at the proper time, everything favors you. And if you are at the wrong time, things actually don't favor you much. Then you have to change accordingly. So for me, it was a signal of change. And I had to change. I had to change. I started with very basic work. I started as a teacher, and the organization which I was associated, I'm still associated proudly with them. It's called as Time, Triumphant Institute of Management Education. So right from 2012, I've been training and guiding students who are actually, aspiring for CAT, that is examination for B schools, and also for CLAT and other examinations. So I'm training them on communication skills, training them on how to hone your capabilities when facing interview and all. So that is one connect which is there, and I'm still maintaining it because this is one thing which I love. I fell in love seriously with teaching, and here I realized my potential actually, sir. Kind of, I realized that yes, I if I speak, people do listen. That is called as persuasion power. So this persuasion power is somehow needed in training field, and then slowly and steadily I started gaining my certifications. My first certification in training field was with Dale Carnegie, then followed by Middle Earth HR, followed by Myers-Briggs, because I am strong certified from their Australia branch. And yes, as a certified as a psychometric tester. NLP, yes, I did my NLP from ANLP UK as a master practitioner of NLP. Right, few of these certifications which I felt like time along you require them. It's basic funda of upgrading yourself, and when you are upgrading yourself, there should be some document also. One documented, proof should be there, because all the time, it's not your presence or your aura. Sometimes some documental evidences are needed. So this is what I would again love to recommend to all students who are trying to pursue their field, maybe as a leader, as a coach, as a mentor, that yes, if you are naturally good in something, be like that, improve yourself. And in the process of improving, if you are going through certain courses, do have their testimonials, do have their validations, because that actually helps you to grow. So this is what, in a nutshell, what I'm doing, where I am. Yeah. Any other question? Right.
Thank you, Dr. Kishore. So that means that you are the learner throughout your life. So you always
Yes.
try to upgrade yourself and you want to explore the new things. You ready to take the new challenge in your life. That's really great. I feel that we should all everyone should learn. Those who are listening to us, they should also think about their career. You should not think about the one career always. If you feel that that career is not suitable for you, whatever you want to do, or somebody is try to impose on you, so better not to take those kind of the career. Whatever you feel that you like it, you try to choose those kind of the career and move forward, and you will be definitely excel in that particular field.
Yes, sir. Very true.
Yeah.
At least in my life, I can say that, because if I remember, I did my 12th from DPS Bhilai, another school which is quite prestigious here in central India. It is the second or third branch of DPS society. First it was definitely Mathura Road, RK Puram, and then came in DPS Bhilai. um, so what was expected from me during those days, because not much of career awareness was there. And especially if you are born in a steel plant area, steel plant community like Bhilai, where you have everywhere engineers surrounding you. So you have a fixed route. Either you will become an engineer or you are going to become a doctor. There is nothing else. Straight away, you're seeing that in that way. Okay. And everyone is preaching you, everyone is guiding you in the same manner. Beta, you have to do well. You have to qualify for IIT. If not, you have to qualify for P. At those times, it used to be PMT, state PMT. NEET has been recent, very recent phenomenon. You have to do, do well in that way. Fine. I somehow secured my position, but I couldn't go for an MBBS one. I secured till, dentistry, BDS. But then, at that time there was a thing that Eastern Europe had opened up, and you had students, especially from areas which had erstwhile Soviet cooperation, students going to Russia for studies. I selected Ukraine, and I went there, and I was there for as a I've been learning as a doctor. And yes, a lot of experiences abroad teaches you many things. You widen yourself, your specter of looking, everything you widen. And then when I returned back. Somehow I had a very strange feeling in my mind, like something is there which I want to explore. Something is making me uncomfortable. And that is what exactly, that was a signal that I need to change my career. You won't believe, I I did my internship here in Durg, government hospital Durg. Very huge kind of experience. Right from Europe, you are shifting to a government hospital, and the crowds you are facing and everything. It's an absolutely different, amazing experience. And then suddenly I had a mind change that this is not the thing for me. Now I should voice up myself. But don't you think it was late? Yes, it was quite late. But then, as I said, jab jago tab savera. It is never late. When you realize your potential, start working on that potential. And then I decided that, okay, fine, stop. I'm going to change myself. I had to undergo a whole lot of things. 2 or 3 months, it was like facing a lot of comments from people. What are you doing now after doing so many, spending so many years? Now you're trying to shift your career. But yes, I did 6 months of medical practice and then I left it. And then I opted for a PGDM and I appeared in CAT and I could secure myself, not huge marks, but I could secure myself amity, the 125 sector, the first amity. And I got there, the PGDM, and my specialization was non-profit management. And from there, life changed. Absolutely life changed. There I got connection of UNICEF. Mr. Augustine Veliet, who was the communication officer of UNICEF, was one of my faculty. He noticed me. He called me up once. He gave me a project of Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, successfully done. Then he shifted me to Dantewada as a part and parcel of UNICEF team. See how life changes and changes. And at one point, when I was working with Ministry of Health as a state hospital consultant with RSBY program. RSBY was a generalized insurance scheme meant for the well-being of common people, common mass of India. That time, due to some heated argument, which generally happens when you are working, there are situations when you have to face arguments, and what is needed is negotiation skill. And somehow I couldn't negotiate that. I felt like that. I couldn't negotiate that. And in the heat of argument, I decided that enough, I'm not going to continue with this. And I left it. And then it was Denmark for me. So things kept on changing for me till it was 2012-13 when it actually kept on, kept me steady on a track. So it's not guarantee that what you start, you're going to continue with that. You might change at that moment, you might change in 5 years, but at one point of time, you realize you are doing what you are meant for. And that is what I have realized now. And I'm doing it. Right.
Absolutely. People should have the passion to do the work. It should not like that somebody asked me to do that work, then only I have to do that.
Yes.
That's the thing. Great thing. Yeah. So, as today's topic is that, so the journey from corporate, the classroom to the corporate. Okay.
Hmm.
So, I want to ask you the one query uh, related to that. So, what are the major challenges the students they are mostly facing when they move from this the classroom to the corporate?
Well, what I have seen of my all age handling students, a huge number of students every year, grooming them for campus recruitment, grooming them for various interviews and all. And I've, as a mentor also to many students, my personal experience also tells that there are two different worlds. Absolutely, what you see in when you are in your college is not what is professional world. Maybe somebody comes to your college and tries to orient you regarding corporate world. This and this will happen. Trust me, it doesn't happen like that. Things are absolutely different. I'm not going to scaremonger you. I'm not going to make you scared. But let me tell you the truth. Corporate is when any second person is trying to sneak in, know your weakness, and trying to gain an advantage on your weakness. This is what is corporate world. Highly competitive, self-focused world is corporate world. But it's a necessary evil. It's a necessary evil because you have to face these things and you have to shine yourself. You have to make yourself prepared and you have to actually show your true caliber. So, for a student who dreams of making big in the corporate world, first and foremost is you have to fix your determination that yes, I'm going to do well in corporates. I'm going to do. You decide whether are you going to start your own thing or you are going to go for a job. If you are going to go for a job and you are planning of joining the corporates, then you should be ideally ready to face the different challenges and situations that job presents to you. First, I have already told you that everyone would try to pull your leg, right? Don't expect your teachers be there, your mentors be there. Nobody is your teacher and mentor there. In college, you had teachers. You did some mistake. They even called you up prior to examination, and they sat up with you and they actually counseled you and they taught you this formula has to be done, son, this you have to do, then you will score. And this, nobody, your boss is not going to take that thing in corporate, because he always has got a open way of finding more people who might be better suited than you for the job. So you have to be very careful in every of your steps. Don't expect a lot of laurels when you are there in the first 4 years of your job. Now, I might sound harsh. I might sound a little bit, like on the heavier side of the talk, but this is the truth, sir. Like, you work a lot. When you join corporates, you work a lot. You're full of zeal, motivation, and you are full of energy. And that energy is harnessed equally well by the seniors. But then, when you accomplish a task, or a task is done, not necessary that you will be given that fair deal of laurels of that task. You might not even feature in any of the publicity related with that task. I have seen this thing. When I won't name the corporate, when I was working with them in their corporate social responsibility section, and had to organize huge medical camps outside the purview of, a normal city into areas which are absolutely rural. We had to work like anything, slog out like anything, but didn't find even a single mention of our effort in any of the publicity which was declared by that unit. And yes, it was disheartening for me, really disheartening. I even asked the PR person that, couldn't we be also accommodated here? He said, no, you won't be. That was his plain answer. And he was least apologetic for anything. That was the most rudest thing which I got. And I could get a very fair understanding that initial years are like that. Only thing is, you don't have to dishearten. This is a training. This is what makes you a person who you are. This is what makes you strong. That whatever happens, if somebody is appreciating or not appreciating, I am continuing with my work and I'm improving in my work. Right. So this is one very important lesson which I would like to tell everyone. Like, you please ready with this, and you keep on working, keep on continuously improving yourself, because everybody is noticing yet not noticing at the initial stage. You are always there in the corner eye of the boss or the person who is your supervisor. You're always there, but he might not mention you. But once you are in a closeness with him of say 2 or 3 years, and then you see things started changing in a very rapid phase, and then you gain that speed, that momentum, and then you see the rise in your career path. So this is one thing. Okay, hone your skills. Very important. Hone your skills. If you see, this is a world which values the best, so you have to be best. Find out what you are good at. Work on your strengths. I'm not saying work on your weaknesses. Let me tell you why. Because what happens is, generally people say that work on your weakness, fine. But on a general principle, if you are strong on 60 and weak in 40, and you start working on your weakness of 40, you are going to lessen your 60 also. So whatever is your strength, work more in it. You will see that in an accordance, your weakness is also getting improved. Communication is one area which is a huge weakness, Sudeep sir, which I have experienced in my life. Huge weakness, particularly English communication. When a student comes from Central India or India, which is dominated by vernacular dialect, and then you see that more preference is given to students from NCR or from Mumbai area, Pune, or any of those metropolitan cities, Bangalore, Hyderabad nowadays. The reason is being a better speaker of English. So, what's stopping you? You can also improve. You have enough time. Now that you have decided that I need to join corporate career, I need to improve upon. Start improving. Start working on it. If you feel like you're not very good in it, whichever language you are good in it, start working on it. Somebody who is not good in English is not good in Hindi also. Let me tell you that. There are people who say, no, 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 I don't know English well. So you're not good in Hindi also. To be good in communication means to master a language, to be presentable. When people appreciate listening, this is the quality which you should develop. And trust me, if you are mastering a language, you have buyers for it. You have people who are going to be definitely there with you and are going to employ you. And yes, be more accountable, be more professional. Your attire should be different. Your attire should be more professional. From the final year itself, try to shift yourself, try to get a little bit amount of subtleness in your life. That raging hormones of college should be controlled by the time you are there in your final year, whichever course you are. You should be a little bit more subtle. You should be a little bit more, I won't say boring types. No, not at all. Composed. That composure is required. Somebody, what happens? I'll give you a very good example. There is a guy called Sudhir. And somebody says, Sudhir. And Sudhir is, yes. Immediately he turns back. Stop that thing. Stop that thing. You've heard? Okay, fine. All right. Take your time. Move back and gently ask what is the matter. This is a very small incident from life which you can actually incorporate in your life. This is how you incorporate calmness inside, right? And this is what helps you to fight all odd situations which you're going to face in the following time.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great insight about these particular things. Yeah. So those who are listening to us, so if you have any particular the questions or anything, you can write it down here in the comment box so that the Dr. Kishore he can clarify your query. Otherwise, we will move to the next query. So yeah. So I know that where you have well explained about these challenges and all. And the second thing I want to say, the do you think is there any kind of the transition is required when the somebody is coming from the campus to the corporate world? What kind of the transition he has to take part?
I think there is a major part of transition. There is something which is, which one should prepare in his mind. First is, as I told you, get ready for the hard schedule. Hard schedule in the sense you don't have anything fixed. Like, okay, your appointment letter might be saying that you are going to be free by 5, but that happens in government job. That ideally doesn't happen here, and especially you are young. As I've told you, when you are young, your energy is harnessed very properly. So expect anything late. Prepare yourself. Prepare yourself for a hard schedule. That will be better. If you prepare yourself, if you create your mindset, you will be facing it in a better way. Look good. Look good doesn't mean that overnight you will be resembling Amitabh Bachchan. No. Looking good means maintain yourself. Like whatever you are wearing should be very decent enough. Carry yourself in a way which is, I'll give you an example, sir. It was interviews for the leading B schools like IIMs. And I was there with my students and I asked them, how are you going to dress up? So why don't you dress up and come and let's have a live round of interviews with your dress, which you are going to be there. Although it was more or less, that COVID affected times and it was more, nothing was offline, everything was online. But then I told them categorically that even if it is online, you have to be there in a attire which is resembling the business world. Fine, they came in. Out of 5 of my candidates, I could see 2 of them were wearing jackets, or rather, I would say a suit, which was resembling as if they had made it during their elder brother's marriage time. Fine. So that, that jig colors and all those things. You have to be little bit settled down now because you are going to enter there. So those flashy colors won't work. You have to be with something which is navy blue or something which is black or something which is blue or of the same kind of color. Tie. The tie was resembling more or less like any of those latest Bollywood heroes who have been wearing ties. Very thin strip kind of that sporty kind of tie. Now there also I had to correct them. Thankfully, we had some time, 2 days, so they could purchase these itineraries. I told them immediately keep this back into your house wherever you from where you have got it. Change it. Shift yourself to a normal tie. Normal tie doesn't mean that the broad one. It means a normal tie, a very normal tie. Footwear. They were like, okay, fine. Now we are going to be online. What is the need of footwear? I mean, are they seeing us completely? I said there has been situation when the interview has asked you that why don't you move few steps back so that I can have a clean look at you. And the other person was not ready for that, and he was only in partial business attire. And rest he was absolutely a home attire. And the man was put for lifelong waiting hall. So this should not happen. So dress properly, absolutely according to the work culture. Okay, fine. You might say that Microsoft doesn't have this kind of traditional work culture, and a traditional dress up and all that. So you know about the company, you know about your company, explore about your company before joining, see how and what they are following and be on, right? Um, Learn to be punctual, time management, most important thing, which we forget. Plan everything beforehand. And if you're planning things beforehand, you won't be kind of, perplexed by any situation. You'll be able to handle the situations very well. Yes, improve your communication. And one important thing, you might be invited for some kind of grapevine communication by some of your colleagues. And that happens. Don't participate from your end. Don't participate in the sense, don't utter out anything from yourself. You listen. Somebody is saying something, fine, you cannot avoid it because he's your senior, maybe, or something like that, a colleague who is there. He's saying something. Listen with a smiling face. Don't utter out anything from your mouth because word uttered out from your mouth will be used against you. Just remember this. This is the most important point which I would love to stress. Practically, this happens a lot of time. So you have to be very careful with what you are speaking, be in full command of that. Never criticize except whatever is there, right? Develop a capacity to negotiate. Not all the time you have things which culminate at your end. Sometimes there are conflicts which arise. Every conflict can be negotiated. So learn how to negotiate a conflict. So I feel these are the few very important things which a person should start practicing before entering inside, corporate world. And yes, dear students, if you are listening to me, again I'm telling you, I'm not scaring you up. So nothing of this should be taken up in a spirit of, oh my God, what is he saying? I mean, it is better I should start something of my own or something like this. That's also good, but I'm not scaring you. I'm just telling you to be more informed and be better prepared so that you fare well. And the intentions are all clear. That's it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, do you think that if somebody has to move into the corporate, is there any kind of the strategy he should follow then on the
Yes,
prior hand?
there has to be a strategy which has to be followed. Like what kind of corporate you are joining, you should know about the institution first. What is the work culture which is prevalent in that institution? Like Sudhir, I have worked with cement industry, I've worked with steel industry, I've worked with health sector, and believe me, all of these three are different in their work communication, work culture, all are different. So whatever industry you are, even software which you are also associated, a league apart from these hardcore industries. I would claim them to be hardcore industries because these are very raw industries. And software, I generally find it to be more refined on that side. So everywhere you have a different set of people, you have different set of challenges. So you have to be mentally prepared in that way. Research well. I would say that research well about your industry. how and what is the work culture. You get the glimpse of the work culture very easily through social media where you are present there, right? Maybe LinkedIn profile. Yes, again, LinkedIn is most important because that's a um, professional platform which is available. You might be present in other also, Facebook, Instagram also, but I feel Insta and Facebook are much on a lighter side, and LinkedIn is a more professional side. So be associated with people who are there of your company where you are going to join, or the industry where, and just keep a watch on their daily activities. Just see what they have been posting along. That will give you a very fine idea of the kind of existing culture you have in that company, the kind of communication they use to communicate with each other, the kind of salutation they use in their mails, the kind of dress up they prefer. Because if you are in an industry which is based in Rajasthan, it's a cement industry, and you are there, suppose you're joining there, I don't think so. Executive suit culture is there. You might have people wearing ties and all, but the suit thing is not much in. Whereas the same thing, if it is like having a headquarters in Bikaji Kama place in Delhi, there you will have an excellent suit culture. So wherever what culture is there, you should adapt accordingly, and you should present yourself in that. Don't be the odd one out. Don't be the person whom, generally people say that ये नया आया है अभी इसको सब कुछ सिखाना होगा. This should not happen with you. You should be prepared. So this is the strategy which a student should actually, and improve yourself. This is the guru mantra. Improve yourself continuously. Rate yourself where you are in communication. If you feel you are convincing, because convincing power is something which is required, because in your later life you will have to generate a lot many business connections, you will have to generate a lot many leads, right? And all this will be better done if you are a good communicator. So improve, work on your communication skills, improve upon it. Yes, nowadays a big requirement is to be proficient with certain softwares, and and certain skills of IT. And if you are lacking it, start working on. Don't be an expert. I'm not asking you to be an expert, but at least it shouldn't happen like right, because some information is given to you and the boss is expecting that to be returned in a format which is more or less like Excel, and you have got difficulties in putting formulas to it. So what happens is they will be teaching you, but immediately you will be spoiling your reputation. And let me tell you, your reputation builds first, and it is the first thing which starts from the first minute. Right when you enter inside the office, you are in a process of building your rep. So be aware of it, and be aware of the challenges and work on it. Be a better prepared person. And there is nothing called failure, let me tell you. Don't get worried if suppose thing is not working out in that way. Don't get worried. Just note down what didn't work out for you. And whatever hasn't worked out for you, start working on that. And if it is still not getting repaired, means it is not meant for you. That relation is also important. So basically, fix your goal, identify the kind of industry, identify the work culture, identify the kind of communication that takes place, adapt yourself according to that, and then join the company.
Got it.
You
Yeah,
won't face a regret.
correct. Correct. Then it's all about the strategy we already talked about. So, yeah. And if somebody has to grow into the corporate world, what are the different steps he has to take? Because the corporate world is a bit different as compared to the campus or the so-called the engineering or medicals or any kind of the
Hmm.
educations.
Hmm.
So if somebody has to grow into the corporate world, so definitely he has to think about the few more things on top of the communication as well. So if you can light on that particular part, so I feel
Right.
that the audience will get help out of that.
One thing which is surely seen and highlighted in your performance as soon as you join is your ability to join a group. That is how a good team player you are, how good you are gelling up with the team. Are you a person who is kind of creating obstacles, who is always in a dilemma, who needs all the time clarity and all? If it is something like this, all right, uh, you have to be very much particular on your capacities of being a good team player. But I'm not saying that you always have to be a team player. There is definitely value of your leadership skill. What good leadership you are having in yourself. Now, leadership, let me tell you, is nothing that single page definition or single point definition saying that leadership fine means when you are able to lead the team. No, that's not. That's not a complete leadership. Leadership is a multifaceted. It is how you handle your team, how you celebrate with your team, how you, what is your manner, how you face a situation when the things are, when the bucks are down. How do you face that situation along with your team, right? It's the kind of empathy you show with your team. It's the kind of relationship you build up with your team. How well you are able to motivate your team. So all these things should be there in you. You have a certain level of leadership in you. Follow someone, try to improve upon, because leadership is something which will cut your situation apart, that will present you in a very, I would say, in a very separate way, where you will be identified easily. Fine, this is the quality in this person, and if the quality is seen clearly by your seniors, you will be trusted upon major tasks. Many times it happens, you will see leaders are selected not on basis of experience, on basis of quality. So you have to improve upon your quality. So this is one thing which has to be there. Networking skills. Yes, business networking, I would say. Try to remember names of people with whom you're. When you are talking with people, always use that Dale Carnegie principle of addressing a person with name. And I would suggest one thing: maintain a small diary. If you're not very tech savvy, then maintain a small diary and note down the name of the person whom you have met on that, because somewhere or other you're going to interact with the same person, and trust me, if you're remembering the name and you are addressing him in that way, the response is going to be better. So this is one thing, and also you will be creating more, kind of fostering more bonds of networking with people, because where you need a person, you don't know exactly, you don't know where you need. If not in this project, maybe in the coming project, you will need the person. So this is what is exactly, what I would love to stress upon. Yes, management skills, how you manage things, which includes your time management and all, and improving upon yourself. Fine. Work-life balance, another thing which I would love to stress upon. Now, this is like a classical textbook answer of which I'm producing out things here. But try to understand work-life balance is necessary, because if it is all work and you're not enjoying your life, you will get bored of it. And if you are not seeing anything very positive in it, at one point you will decide leaving. So it's better to be more managed with your time skills, where you are actually, kind of taking out certain time for your personal life also, for your enrichment, because that is also needed. That is also needed. So be sure that this is happening. Be innovative. One more thing, be innovative, because uh, corporates favor people who can think out of the box. And thinking out of the box means present also equally. It doesn't mean that presenting any vague idea. It means a validated idea which you can utilize for achievement of any set of particular goals, which is something which you have thought. So always be innovative in your mind, always be there with something or other which you can feel, which can cut short things, which can make you a more efficient and smart worker rather than a hard worker. I would say a smart worker. I feel these all things are necessary where you need to strategize apart from communication when you
Absolutely,
are climbing up the
absolutely
ladder.
correct. So you should differentiate yourself from this particular the group of people in that
Yes.
particular way.
Hmm, hmm.
That's really important. Yeah. So yeah, so we are about to close this particular the discussions. We are almost the end of this particular discussion. So those who are listening to us, so if you have any particular query, those who want to start their journey from this campus to corporate, if you have any query or anything, so you can post your query here in this comment box so that we can clarify your questions. Otherwise, we'll be closing this particular session very soon. And thanks, Dr. Kishore, for your time. And I would say all the people, those who are listening to us, so bottom from my heart. So thank you everyone for spending us this evening and ensure this particular the communications and what knowledge Dr. Kishore has given to you. It's really helpful for your next career journey when you will move from this campus to the corporate. So do you want to add on top of that, Dr. Kishore, if you add it? So a few points so that after that we can close this particular the broadcast.
Right. First, definitely a big thanks to you, Sudipta, for giving me this chance. And I'm sure that today's whatever talk we had would be beneficial to whoever is watching this. May not like if anytime else also you're watching it in media platform. It is going to be helpful to you. The first thing, again, I would like to remind you is set your priorities, set your goals, set your priorities, and prepare for whatever is going to happen. Be prepared, and trust me, if you have done these things, whatever is going to happen is going to happen good. It is never going to be an unexpected or surprise to you if you are prepared for it. Prepared for it. Be a better version of yourself. Work on yourself. I'm sure you will find some alley somewhere which requires improvement. If you are already good in something, be excellent in that. Don't satisfy yourself with good. Be excellent with that. And yes, have trust in yourself. Have trust in your mentors. And yes, you ask me if there is anything. If there is anything, please do ask. Right? You can communicate. If it is possible with you for mail communication, and I'll be providing my mail address and all. You can later on provide it to them. And
Yeah.
yes, all the best to all of you who are listening to me today for your bright future. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We are closing this particular broadcast for today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.